Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting session of the Food Service Hygiene Dialogue. This is the last panel discussion of the season, and in this session, we're going to be talking about emerging trends and technologies in food service hygiene. Sounds interesting? So let's meet the panel of experts who are going to shine a light on this topic today. Joining us in this session is Mr. Samrat Sharma, Director of Operations, Kitchens, Talabat, MENA, and Mr. Andrew Turner, Institutional Divisional Manager, Riza Hygiene. Welcome to the Food Service Hygiene Dialogue, Andrew and Samrat. Without further ado, let me turn over the time to you. Just a quick note to the audience. If you have any questions, please type them into your question box on your chat panel, and I'll bring them up during the panel discussion. So let's begin. I'd like to initiate this conversation with the importance of hygiene in a food service business like Talabat. Samrat, can you please enlighten us about it?
Yeah, sure. So hygiene has always been the most crucial accountability for all the food service operators. In Talabat kitchens, we have multiple partners offering variety of cuisines. So it's vital for us to maintain the highest standards of hygiene to ensure each and every order dispatched from our kitchen is safe. This helps us in safeguarding our interest of our customers' health by protecting them from any foodborne illness. In fact, one of the KPIs in our kitchen is the food safety metrics, which is part of our operational center of excellence. This is also to establish the fact that management gives food safety and hygiene utmost importance so that everyone working in the kitchen work on the same ideology. Because we have observed that at times management commitment lacks in food safety hygiene. So we don't want to go that route. We are very much committed and serious in terms of hygiene in our kitchens. Also, I would like to shout out to the UAE government. They have really uplifted the standards of food safety and hygiene in the F&B industry to one of the best globally.
Thank you, Samrat. Andrew, now since you can bring a manufacturer's perspective into this, what is the importance of hygiene in a food service business from a manufacturer's perspective?
From our perspective, I think Samrat perfectly hit the nail on the head there. It's we fully support all of those points. It is absolutely critical in food production, in food hygiene, and it's really one of the core pillars of good food. One, you've got to protect the customer's health. That's the most important thing that we've got here. But also, from a terms of a restaurant point of view, it's essential to maintaining your image and brand reputation. And that's the main thing. We're all out there. We obviously are a company that sells products, and any food hygiene business is a company that is there to make money. And if you don't maintain good hygiene standards, your turnover is going to go down. They're intrinsically linked. That a good, clean, reputable store and brand will generate more money. So it's the two really important things. It's maintaining your customers' health and ensuring that you are serving good, fresh, clean food that is safe. And the kind of advantages of that are you build a good, well-respected brand and reputation that people want to come back to.
Certainly. Now, Samrat, if I may ask you, what are the challenges of maintaining hygiene in your business and how do you overcome them?
Well, it all starts from staff. So I think staff competence is the backbone of food safety and hygiene. When staff is incompetent or not fully equipped with food safety knowledge and are not allowed to work as food handlers, food safety standards and practices might get sacrificed. So in order to overcome them, we need to understand whether it's a training requirement or a performance discrepancy. Once we establish if it's a training requirement, we need to get staff trained and then retrained. But if it's a performance discrepancy, then we need to ensure that the staff is properly counseled and coached to be back on track in performance. Another challenge is lack of food safety management systems and SOPs with partners operating. That's ongoing trend in cloud kitchens, I can say. since there are so many partners in our kitchen, some of them might be new entrant in the business and they might not have a proper standard operating procedures to operate the business. So in Talabat kitchens, our kitchen managers and supervisors work very closely with our partners on a daily basis and support them to implement food safety management system in their respective kitchens. And we have a dedicated food safety team that provides all the technical support, including SOPs, checklists to ensure compliance. Then another recurring challenge in our industry is equipment downtime uh, due to lack of preventive maintenance. So in our kitchens, we have a dedicated maintenance resource who works very closely with our facility management contractors to ensure that we have zero downtime of equipment and all the assets are maintained with proper preventive maintenance.
Thank you, Samrat. Andrew, what are some of the challenges of maintaining hygiene in a food service business in your perspective? And what are the challenges you faced in catering to them? How do you overcome these challenges?
Sure. Again, Samrat summed it up nicely. It's really down to what we see: two things: training, so competency of staff, and one of the biggest ones is time. They are always, it's the first excuse you will get when you'll come into a customer or when we're working with a partner is we don't have time. They struggle because they're pushed. If they're a busy restaurant and they're trying to maximize their capability, maximize their output, then they don't put aside enough time for cleaning. But cleaning isn't hard. That's the basics of it. If you follow proper standards throughout, if you follow clean as you go, if you maintain the right equipment, the right cleaning equipment, the right chemicals, use a professional system, it can make all of these things a lot easier to reduce the amount of time required to clean. In terms of training, what we do is work very closely with our partners, and it's what any hygiene company should do. Anybody can sell chemicals. It's not, I could go out and my original job is a development chemist. I could put together a range of items for anybody that I could probably get from various different places. But what you don't get from that is the systems, a full hygiene system like Samrat was mentioning, where you've got the support data, you've got material safety data sheets, product data sheets, standard operating procedures, wall charts, signage, training courses and repeat training. And it's essential if you are looking at improving food hygiene. That's what you get from a professional hygiene company. As I say, anything can clean. It's I could probably clean most places with one or two chemicals that I can buy from anywhere, but it's that backup and support that is essential. And the kind of final most important part of that is management within the establishment. If it's not being promoted from the top and led from the top, then the system will fail. There's got to be someone within the establishment that takes accountability for cleaning, and it really should be someone right at the top. So it filters all the way down through the company, so you get a good ethos surrounding good hygiene.
Thank you, Andrew and Samrat. Samrat, if you could tell us about training your food handlers in terms of hygiene, because as we've seen in the past 2 years, training has proved to be something very, very important. And we'd like to understand how you do it and the kind of importance that you place on it.
So as I mentioned earlier, all thanks to UAE government, they have so many regulations in place for F&B industry. So we need to follow the same in our kitchens as well. We consider all our kitchen team as food handlers. Therefore, as food handlers, we send them for training in municipality approved training providers for their person in charge trainings, basic food safety trainings, or essential food safety trainings, depending on which emirates they are working. Apart from that, we also have regular on-job training for them, led by our food safety team to ensure that hygiene, amongst others, is maintained at all times. Plus, we have HACCP related training for our kitchen team. We recently got HACCP certification in our Sharjah kitchen, and our vision for 2023 to get each Talabat kitchen HACCP certified across Middle East, and then move on to ISO certification. In fact, we are planning to open our own state-of-the-art training academy for kitchens in 2023 with a demo kitchen to ensure we not just keep our staff trained, but also support our partners in kitchen by giving them proper induction and training before they start operations.
That is actually wonderful. Andrew, if you could tell us, from your experience, what is the need for training food handlers in terms of hygiene, and how do you enable that for your clients?
I mean, training's critical. It's the most important part of our service to our clients, because like I've mentioned before, anybody can supply chemicals, but to ensure the success, you need to back it up with good training. Samrat said some great things there. It really, you should be putting your staff and through something like level 2, level 3 food hygiene courses. Management ideally should be level 4 with an organization like Highfield. We do support and do these courses as well. HACCP is absolutely essential. It's not it was great to hear Samrat say that, because we get often get requests about HACCP to ourselves, and what we have to say is, look, HACCP is your responsibility, but we can give you the tools to add to it, so a professional cleaning system that adds to it. But the main thing is just consistency and repetition. So you've got to do consistent training, and it's got to be simple. The easier any system is to understand, the easier the uptake. And you've got to repeat. Doing one-off training courses does nothing. So one thing we work heavily on is we have a team of what we call technical sales consultants, or we used to call them auditors, but it was unfair, really. They did a lot more than just audit. And they visit all of our customers, our partners. For example, someone like McDonald's, we visit them every single month. We do a check on all the system to make sure it's in place, but also we do refresher training in the store, direct on the job, because it's the best way to learn is on the job training. And if you're repeating that every single month, then it becomes the normality for everybody.
Understood. Thank you. Now, talking about compliance, we've all, discussed about training. We understand that training is very important, but once the staff is trained, how do you ensure that they comply with what they have been trained with when they are working on field? So Samrat, if you can shed some light on this.
Yeah, so generally, as you all know, in food service establishment, audits are done twice a day, which is before opening and due closing time. However, in Talabat kitchens, we do audit thrice a day. So we have added an additional layer of audit in form of mid-shift to ensure that basic hygiene procedures and requirements are adhered to at all times. In fact, all our kitchen managers and supervisors in Talabat kitchens are committed to comply with all SOPs and adhering of the same in our kitchens. We also have a dedicated food safety team. As I mentioned earlier, they conduct unannounced food safety inspections in all our kitchens, and along with the brands as well, highlighting any findings and encouraging us to implement appropriate and adequate corrective action. We are very transparent in our communication with the team. If anyone commits a mistake, we consider it as a learning opportunity and move forward. We train our team to ensure that we don't repeat the same mistake. So we focus a lot and work closely with all kitchen team, including our partners, to ensure and educate them the importance of the compliance. And we have all different forms of descriptive posters in our kitchens to ensure it's always there on top of mind while people working in our kitchen, to ensure that they understand the importance of hygiene and compliance at all times.
Thank you, Samrat. Andrew, do you have any tips to share when it comes to compliance of food handlers with respect to hygiene guidelines set by organizations?
Samrat covered it lovely there. It's repetition is key. And you've got to have some form of checks. 3 audits a day is exactly where you should be, really. It's 2 is okay, 3 fantastic, and you've got to work with your team. Where I've seen hygiene fail badly in areas is where they actively punish the team rather than encourage and work with them and help them, assist them, show them where they're going wrong, and constantly repeat. Training should be fun. It shouldn't be a chore. It should be, they should be understanding that they're learning something each time, and punishing somebody because they've done something wrong is absolutely the wrong way of doing anything. It's encourage, be supportive, and work with someone, a company that supports you. If you're not getting training from a hygiene company or a supplier, then they're wrong. We do the same with our suppliers who supply us things like Rubbermaid equipment. We insist that they come out multiple times a year to do training with the staff and make sure that they're kept at a high level, because a trained staff member who feels that he's getting all of this from a company, all of this extra knowledge, will stay with the company and they'll enjoy their job more. An untrained staff member that just gets shouted at because they haven't maybe done the job, they're not going to be happy, they're going to leave. So it's keep things simple, repeat it. I mean, repetition is at the heart of making sure anything is normal and becomes standard. And use external people to assist.
Thank you, Andrew. Samrat, if I may now ask you, what does a typical cleaning and disinfection schedule at your business look like?
So in Talabat kitchens, we are following a very well-defined cleaning schedule. It's a document that defines what to clean, how to clean, frequency of cleaning, who will clean, what chemicals to be used in cleaning, and verification of the effectiveness of the cleaning. It's very important because at times new people come on board. So this document really helps them to perform from day one. All equipment, surfaces and utensils have their own cleaning SOPs and made available as a reference to our cleaning staff. A typical cleaning and disinfection routine in our kitchen is done daily before opening and during closing, and in some instances, as I mentioned, in the middle of the shift as well. Our kitchen managers and supervisors are well qualified, well trained, and they monitor the effectiveness of this cleaning and disinfection.
Thank you, Samrat. Andrew, if I may ask you how the pandemic has changed the way food service businesses look at hygiene.
Sure. And it's difficult to say it like this, but it's the easiest way to explain it. The pandemic was good for us in food hygiene. Why? And you never want to say a pandemic was good, but what it has done is it has made everybody realize that hygiene is critical now. And I think that is a good point, because standards do slip in organizations. I've seen it in the very best organizations in the world. And by what the pandemic has done is made us all rethink again and all realize that, look, if we don't have good hygiene systems, good support systems, good training, more awareness, then things could get worse. Like the pandemic. The pandemic, it could be spread because of poor hygiene. So I do think it's almost a terrible thing to say, but I do think it really has made food hygiene, put it at the forefront of everybody's minds, which is, for me, as someone who has worked in the hygiene industry for 20 years, I think it's a good thing, because it has made people think a lot more about how hygiene should be implemented.
Thank you, Andrew. Samrat, what is your opinion about this? How has the pandemic changed the way you look at hygiene?
So whatever Andrew said, we can correlate with this. It's spot on for the entire industry and outside F&B industry as well. While cleaning and disinfection has always been important, it has never been more important than that during and even after pandemic in F&B industry. The ecosystem has evolved during the pandemic to improve hygiene standards. Now we have some cool tech features in our kitchens which were not there before pandemic. For example, contactless lockers. We used such lockers during Expo in Talabad kitchen. Then there are paperless audits now, digital food safety management system, AI-enabled monitoring for face mask and hairnet compliance, contactless water dispensing, and ATP devices. So there are some new because change is the only constant. There are so many changes in the tech as well to support F&B business now, and it has all happened because of the need to change during the pandemic. And it's good that some of these features are now available in Middle East to be implemented in F&B.
Thank you so much, Samrat. Now, if you can also tell us about your cleaning and hygiene best practices that you follow at Talabat Kitchens.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, in Talabat Kitchens, we are using a very well-defined cleaning schedule and SOPs. We are using top quality and leading chemicals in the market. Other than that, we use a digital questionnaire for all the visitors entering our kitchens to capture their details. This was one of the key initiatives which we did during COVID, as it includes temperature monitoring. Plus, everyone entering in our kitchen has to pass through a foot bath to ensure even shoes are disinfected. And then there's an automated hand wash and disinfection station, which we are currently piloting. In all our kitchens, we have a set of very descriptive posters to ensure food safety and hygiene is always on top of mind amongst all the staff in the kitchen. I mentioned this earlier as well. We have set up digital versions of existing forms and checklists. The data is collected daily via temperature sensors, handheld devices, tablet, and software application. There are variety of probes like air probe, surface probe, penetration probe, cooking oil probe, and infrared thermometer. Then another cool feature device which we use in our kitchens are ATP device to verify the effectiveness of cleaning and disinfection. Across all Talabat kitchens, we have implemented the food safety metrics as one of the KPIs for the kitchens team. It consists of internal and external audit scores, critical food safety complaints, ATP swab results, and facility management. This ensures that every kitchen we operate maintains standards consistently.
Thank you, Samrat. I would also like to understand what kind of chemicals or technologies do you use to maintain the highest levels of cleaning and hygiene?
Sure. From myself?
Yes, of course.
Yes. Okay. In terms of chemicals, now cleaning technologies moved on in from when I first started in the laboratory designing chemicals 20 years ago. It seems like a lifetime, but it has moved on now to ensure things are. What we're concentrating on is super concentrates in terms of chemicals. You're utilizing less packaging. We're looking at all chemical systems should be auto-dosed. I know these have been around for years, but these have been improved, been refined. We look at putting a full system in there, really. It's you should be able to have right from the start, from one side of hygiene to the other, you should have a full system. So first starting with hand care, moving all the way through to floor, surface, disinfection, cleaning. Then it should be ideally all color coded. There should be color coded tool systems throughout the restaurant, which we try to provide to differentiate between the different areas. Signage is critical, is essential. So in all points, there should be signage so the staff know exactly where to use things. Standard operating procedures provided where the chemicals. And it's a full system essentially. What we're looking at to move towards the future really though is more sustainable cleaning. Sustainability is a word that is everywhere in the world now, especially for us in Saudi Arabia with Vision 2030. Sustainability is at the heart of it, and in essence, hygiene is quite environmentally damaging. It can use a lot of water, which in the Middle East isn't great, and a lot of the chemicals, for example, the sanitizers, are not very environmentally friendly in the slightest. So what we're looking to do and we've already started in big ways in this, because big projects like NEOM and Red Sea are demanding it, is moving all of our chemicals to green environmental products to give customers that option. So things that have UL Eco logo registration, Green Seal registration, and we're also looking at new technologies that remove chemicals completely. So we're partnering with a company called Oxitec at the moment. They're leaders in ozone generation, and we're looking to see how that can be utilized on sites for all sanitization, because sanitizers in their essence kill things, so they are damaging to the environment. Ozone technology, which has been around for years, but it's only recently become really safe enough that you could put it in kitchens. It breaks down to just water and oxygen. So it is completely environmentally friendly, but it's also one of the best, or it is the best oxidizer or sanitizing disinfection type form that out there. So we're really pushing that to see how we can push the boundaries of hygiene and on a sustainability way, and improve the hygiene levels, but protect the environment as well. So it's exciting times. It's something I never thought when I started in the industry and we were sending out some horrifically damaging products, that we would be now at the stage where we're actually, hopefully protecting the environment.
Thank you, Andrew. Samrat, if you can add to this, what kind of technologies, cleaning technologies do you use to maintain the highest standards of hygiene and cleaning?
Yeah, thanks, Andrew, for mentioning sustainability. It's good that because of technology we can correlate with sustainability as well. For example, in our kitchens, by implementation of a digital solution in kitchen operations, bringing in state-of-the-art technology to support hygiene compliance is good. It's good, but it also saves environment. For example, after digitalizing all our existing forms and checklists, we ended up saving paper worth 51 trees in 2022. Now for normal public, it looks like just 51 trees, but people who are there from the industry, they know that saving 51 trees is a good task, and the way we are moving forward, our vision in 2023 will be at least 110 trees saving. So this technology is also helping us in sustainability as well. In terms of new features, what we have implemented in our kitchen, we have all these paperless inspection, we have food safety and hygiene monitoring, we have IoT sensors in our kitchen, we have contactless pickup, cooking oil management. So we have all these different types of tools to make sure that compliance is there in terms of food safety and hygiene. And I also would like to bring this point that having all these things is good, but making sure that the staffs are well trained to use that's also equally important. So we can add as many features in the kitchen as possible, but staffs are not trained, or the service provider for those products, if they are not working hand in hand, then we are not able to achieve this.
Absolutely.
Certainly, I agree with you, Samrat. And now, before we close the session, any last comments about this topic from Andrew?
I think we've covered it all very well. I mean, Samrat's come up with some really great points. It's nice to hear from someone so intrinsically involved in the industry, and a big company like Talabat that I know. Well, I certainly use them a few times a week, so I'm sure everybody else does as well. But it's so no, from my point, really, it's just I'd like to get across that it is critical hygiene. If you're not taking hygiene seriously, then you're going to fail in the industry. It's the basic pillar stone of any business in the food production, food services is hygiene. It doesn't matter if you get your hygiene right, everything else will follow.
Certainly. Samrat, any last comments from you?
Yeah, so Samya, thanks for arranging this, and it was really good to hear. And you talking about Reza Hygiene, they are again market leaders in their segment. So good to hear what these guys are doing these days. And for all those who are listening to us, I just want to say that it's food safety and hygiene is everyone's responsibility. Whoever is working in F&B industry, so don't think of it as responsibility of just your food safety team. Everyone is equally responsible. So please, all the managers out there, put focus on making sure that all these health and safety checks are there in kitchen and your respective F&B outlets, and we maintain them. And there are so many tech features currently available. Try to implement those in your respective outlets. Don't think from it as a huge investment. When you talk to the people out there, the service providers, you will come to know it's not that expensive. So think how we can implement these new tech for overall betterment of the ecosystem in which everyone is happy and safe.
Looks like we have covered all of our questions and we can finally close this session. Thank you so much, Andrew and Samrat, for joining us today. To the audience, we are going to have a quick one-on-one chat with Andrew after a short networking break before we close the second edition of the Food Service Hygiene Dialogue. Stay with us and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Samrat. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you so much.